When you believe fully, the world bends to you. That is not poetry, it is not wishful thinking. It is one of the most profound truths you will ever encounter in your lifetime. Stop for a moment and really consider this idea. The shape of your life, the success you achieve, the challenges you overcome or fail to face, these are all governed by the quality and conviction of your belief. For nothing in this world can stand against a mind made up. So many of us wander through life as if our thoughts were trivial things. We think whatever drifts in, we react without intention. We assume our fears are facts, and then we wonder why our lives do not change, why opportunities pass us by, why we are stuck in the same routine, seeing the same walls, hearing the same excuses in our own voice. But let me tell you, you are not condemned to this. You are not fixed in place. You are not limited by your past. You are only limited by what you are willing to believe about yourself. Now, before we go further, let's pause. If you find value in these ideas, if you want to live a life of your own design and not by default, take a moment to like and subscribe. Not as a favor to me, but as a small promise to yourself that you will keep returning to these principles. Because repetition is the mother of learning, and commitment is the seed of all change. You see, belief is the foundation of all achievement. It is the bedrock of every invention, every breakthrough, every towering success you admire. Nothing of consequence was ever built by a doubter. No man or woman ever achieved greatness by telling themselves they couldn't do it. The world yields to the person who knows where they are going and refuses to accept anything less. That is why it is essential you examine the beliefs you hold about yourself. Most people live second-hand lives. They inherit their beliefs from those who never examined their own. They accept limits that were handed to them by teachers who didn't understand their potential, by parents who did their best but perhaps did not know how to dream, by friends who mock ambition because they fear its demands. And so they become prisoners in an open field, surrounded by invisible fences that they never question. But what if you decided to question them? What if you realized that the only limits on your life are those you accept? What if you chose to believe that you are capable of far more than you have yet attempted, that you possess within you the seeds of greatness waiting only for cultivation? Because you do. And the moment you begin to see yourself differently, the world will reflect that change back to you. Understand this. Your mind is fertile ground. It does not care what you plant in it. It will return poison with the same abundance as it will return wheat. Plant fear, doubt, limitation, and you will reap exactly that. Plant faith, purpose, courage, and your harvest will be plentiful. This is not mysticism. This is the law of cause and effect. As you sow, so shall you reap. Think of the man who wants success but constantly tells himself he cannot achieve it. He says the market is too crowded, he is not smart enough, he lacks the right connections. He waters these seeds of doubt daily. He tends them carefully, and when failure grows from this soil, he is surprised. But should he be, the land is only returning what he planted. Contrast this with the man who decides that he will succeed, no matter what. He tells himself daily that he will find a way, that obstacles are simply problems to solve. He reads, he learns, he acts. He fails but refuses to quit. He holds the picture of success firmly in his mind, watering it with faith and action. And the world, seeing his conviction, begins to open doors for him. People are drawn to him. Opportunities present themselves. He becomes what he believes. This is why it is so critical that you guard your thoughts. The world will try to convince you to think small. It will tell you to play it safe, to avoid risk, to be grateful for mediocrity. And those voices are persuasive. They are loud. They are everywhere. But you must refuse them. You must replace them with your own voice, a voice that speaks possibility, purpose, and determination. Ask yourself, what do you believe about your potential, about your future? Are these beliefs serving you or limiting you? Most people never pause to ask this. They simply inherit beliefs and call them truth. But you must do better. You must become a careful gardener of your own mind. I want you to imagine for a moment the power of belief in action. Picture the man who sets out to cross an ocean in a small boat. If he truly believes he can do it, he prepares accordingly. He studies maps. He learns about the currents and the weather. He builds a strong vessel. He gathers supplies. And when the storms come, and they will, he is not surprised. He adjusts his sails. He bails water if he must. But he does not turn back, because his belief is not fragile. It is built on preparation, knowledge, and determination. Now imagine the man who says, "I'll try, but I doubt I can do it." He does not prepare as carefully. He hesitates to buy the best materials. He sets sail uncertainly, and the first storm convinces him to turn back. His failure is not due to fate or to luck, but to the weakness of his belief. Which of these men are you? Which do you want to be? Because you must choose. Life will not choose for you, and if you do not choose, the world will choose for you, and it will always choose the easier, safer, smaller path. Belief is not simply hope. Hope is passive. Hope wishes things will improve. Belief is active. It knows they will improve because it will make them improve. It is the difference between waiting for opportunity and creating it. You see, the world respects conviction. It bends to the man or woman who knows where they are going and demands nothing less. People will test your certainty. Circumstances will test it. But if you hold firm, the world must eventually yield. This is why I say the best investment you can make is in yourself. Not in fleeting pleasures, not in things that rust and fade, but in your own mind, your own beliefs, your own character. Because these are the roots from which all other successes grow. How do you invest in yourself? By feeding your mind daily with good ideas, by reading the best books, by surrounding yourself with those who expect excellence of you, by setting clear goals and reviewing them constantly, by refusing to indulge fear and doubt, by acting even when you are afraid, especially when you are afraid. Because fear is the great enemy of belief. It whispers lies. It tells you that you are not enough, that you will fail, that you will be embarrassed or rejected. And if you listen to it, it will shrink your world to the size of a prison cell. But if you face fear with belief, if you say to it, "I will not be ruled by you," then fear loses its power. You will discover that most of what you feared was smoke and shadows, that the real obstacles were within you, and that once you conquered them, the world outside had no choice but to change as well. And so I ask you now, today, to decide. Decide that you will believe in yourself, not vaguely, not half-heartedly, but fully, with the same certainty that you know the sun will rise tomorrow. Because when you believe fully, the world bends to you, not because it owes you anything, but because you will finally be in harmony with the laws that govern all success. Most people will never make that decision. They will hear these words, nod politely, and then go back to their old habits, their old fears, their old limits. And that is their right. No one can force belief upon another. It must come from within. But for those rare few who do decide, who say to themselves, "Enough of this small life, enough of this doubt," a new world opens before them. Because they have chosen to live deliberately, to shape their own destiny, rather than have it shaped for them. You see, belief is not just the starting point. It is the fuel, the compass, and the sustaining force behind every achievement. It is belief that keeps a man studying late into the night when others sleep. It is belief that gets him back up after failure, refusing to be defeated. It is belief that allows him to see opportunities where others see only obstacles. Without belief, talent is wasted. Without belief, intelligence lies dormant. Without belief, even the best plans will wither on the vine because no one will have the courage to see them through. I want you to understand that the world does not reward need. It does not reward desperation. It does not even reward hard work alone. It rewards belief-backed action, because belief transforms work into art. It transforms plans into reality. It gives a man the courage to do what must be done even when no one else believes in him. Consider the great inventors, the great leaders, the great entrepreneurs. Every single one was ridiculed at first. Their ideas were called impossible, foolish, dangerous. But they held their belief so firmly, so unshakably, that the world eventually had to adapt to them. The Wright brothers believed men could fly, when the experts said it was madness. Edison believed he could create light from electricity, when others called it a fantasy. These men were not immune to doubt or fear, but they refused to serve those masters. They chose belief instead. And so must you, because you too are creating something. You are creating your own life. Whether you do it consciously or not, whether you do it well or poorly, you are creating it every single day. Your choices, your thoughts, your habits, these are the architects of your destiny. And if you do not believe in yourself, you will build something small, something fragile, something easily destroyed by the first strong wind. But if you believe fully, you will build something enduring, something that can weather storms, something that can serve not only you, but those you love and those who come after you. That is your responsibility. That is your privilege, to make of your life a testament to the power of belief. Ask yourself, what would I attempt if I believed I could not fail? How would I carry myself? How would I speak? How would I treat others? How would I treat myself? Because the way you act is always a reflection of what you truly believe. A man who believes he is capable of greatness does not waste time. He does not indulge in petty resentments or idle pleasures. He does not speak words that contradict his goals. He acts with purpose. He chooses his company wisely. He makes plans and executes them. And when he fails, and he will, because failure is part of every worthy pursuit, he does not interpret it as proof of inadequacy. He interprets it as feedback, as instruction, as another step toward mastery, because his belief is not in perfection, but in progress. I want to remind you that belief is not about arrogance. It is not about thinking you are better than others. It is about understanding that you are not less than anyone, that you have within you the same potential as any man or woman who has ever accomplished anything of worth. It is about recognizing that while circumstances differ, the human spirit is universal, and that by cultivating your mind, refining your character, and acting with purpose, you can rise above your circumstances. Do not confuse belief with empty affirmations. It is not enough to say you believe while living in a way that proves you don't. Belief must be demonstrated. It must be proven to yourself through consistent action. Each day you must choose to align your thoughts and behaviors with the future you desire. Each day you must silence the voice of doubt that will inevitably arise. Each day you must ask yourself, what would the man I want to be do today? And then do it. This is the work. This is the investment. And yes, it is hard. It requires sacrifice. It requires saying no to comfort, no to ease, no to the crowd. But consider the alternative. A life of regret. A life of wondering what might have been. A life of watching others achieve what you told yourself was impossible. I cannot imagine a worse fate than that. Because the truth is that no one else can do this for you. No mentor, no book, no motivational talk will substitute for your own decision to believe. These things can guide you, inspire you, remind you of your power, but in the end, you must act, you must choose, you must commit. You may say, but what if I fail? I say, of course you will fail. Failure is guaranteed. It is part of the process. But defeat is optional. Defeat only happens when you choose to stop believing. As long as you hold fast to your vision, as long as you keep getting back up, you are not defeated. You are simply learning. You are refining. You are moving closer to your goal. So today I challenge you to examine your beliefs. Write them down. Ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this belief helping me grow, or is it keeping me small? And if it is limiting you, discard it. Replace it with one that empowers you. Refuse to entertain thoughts that weaken you. Refuse to give time to fears that rob you of your courage. Feed your mind daily with truths that lift you up. Surround yourself with those who remind you of who you can be, not who you have been. This is the investment I speak of. An investment not in things, but in yourself, in your mind, in your spirit, in your potential. It is the one investment guaranteed to yield returns beyond your imagination. Because as you grow, so too does everything you touch. You will see your relationships improve, because you will bring more to them. You will see your work transform, because you will approach it with excellence and creativity. You will see opportunities appear that once seemed invisible, because your eyes will finally be trained to see them. And you will discover a peace, a calm assurance that comes only to those who know who they are and where they are going. You will no longer be tossed by every wind of circumstance. You will no longer fear what others think or say. You will no longer wonder if you are enough, because you will know. You will have proven it to yourself, day by day, choice by choice, belief by belief. And in time, the world will notice. It will recognize in you something rare, something valuable. It will open doors for you because it cannot help but respond to the power of a mind made up. And you will understand at last what I mean when I say, when you believe fully, the world bends to you. Belief, when held deeply and without compromise, acts as a magnet. It draws to you the people, the resources, the ideas you need to fulfill your vision. You will find almost mysteriously that circumstances begin to align. A chance meeting brings you the partner you need. An unexpected opportunity appears when you need it most. The solution to a problem comes to you in a moment of quiet reflection. Some will call this luck, others will call it coincidence. But you will know better. You will know it is the natural consequence of a mind that has been properly directed. For the mind is not a passive vessel. It is an active, creative force. It does not simply record reality. It shapes it. It interprets events, assigns meaning, and determines your response. And your responses, repeated over time, become your habits. Your habits shape your character, and your character determines your destiny. This is why it is so essential that you take responsibility for what you allow to dwell in your mind. Too many people abdicate this responsibility. They allow the news to fill them with fear. They allow gossip to fill them with judgment. They allow negativity to poison their dreams, and then they wonder why their lives seem to spiral downward. But you are not obligated to think these thoughts. You have the power to choose what you focus on. You can decide what seeds you plant in the fertile soil of your mind. If you plant seeds of faith, of courage, of determination, you will reap a harvest of success and satisfaction. But this is not something you do once. It is something you do every day. Just as the farmer must water his crops and pull the weeds that threaten them, you must daily renew your belief and remove the doubts that creep in. This is the true work of personal development. Not merely reading a book or listening to a talk, but applying these ideas until they become second nature. Do not be discouraged if this takes time. Remember, you did not acquire your limiting beliefs overnight. They were planted in you, often without your knowledge, over years of repetition. You must be patient with yourself as you replace them with beliefs that empower you. You must persist even when you do not see immediate results. For the law of harvest applies. You will reap in due season if you do not give up. Let me ask you, how would you live if you truly believed you could not fail? What risks would you take? What conversations would you have? What work would you devote yourself to? Too often we think small because we fear the pain of failure. But I tell you, the real pain is in never trying, in waking up one day and realizing you played it safe your entire life and missed the chance to become who you were meant to be. When you believe fully, you grant yourself permission to try. You give yourself the freedom to fail, knowing that failure is not the end but part of the journey. You see rejection not as proof of inadequacy, but as redirection to something better. You treat obstacles not as signs to quit, but as challenges to be solved. This mindset is not naive. It is not blind optimism. It is the clear-eyed understanding that life will test you, but you are capable of passing those tests if you refuse to give up. Belief also has another power. It influences those around you. People are drawn to confidence. They are inspired by certainty. When you speak with conviction, others listen. When you act with purpose, others follow. This is how leaders are made. Not by title or position, but by the quiet authority that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. Think of the people you admire most. Were they timid? Did they hesitate to declare their vision? Or did they believe so deeply that their belief became contagious? History is full of such people. Individuals who changed the world, not because they were born special, but because they refused to doubt their calling. And you are no different. The potential within you is the same. It only awaits your decision to claim it. Understand this. The world will test your belief. It will present you with setbacks, criticism, and moments of doubt. This is not to defeat you, but to strengthen you. Just as steel is tempered by fire, your character is forged through adversity. Each challenge you overcome deepens your belief in yourself. Each obstacle surmounted adds to your confidence, and in time you will become unshakable. But you must begin. You must make the choice to believe even when the evidence is not yet visible, especially then, because belief precedes evidence. It is belief that creates evidence. The Wright brothers did not wait for proof that man could fly before building their plane. They believed first, and the evidence followed. Edison did not wait for the light bulb to exist before committing to invent it. He believed first, and through thousands of failures, he proved himself right. So it is with you. Whatever goal you hold in your heart, whatever vision you see in your mind, you must first choose to believe it is possible. You must hold that belief through doubt, through delay, through disappointment. You must act in alignment with that belief every day, even in small ways. And if you do, the world will eventually bend to your will. Not because it is easy, but because you refuse to accept anything less. I want you to understand the responsibility this entails. Because once you accept that belief shapes reality, you can no longer blame circumstances. You can no longer excuse inaction. You can no longer say, "I can't," without admitting, "I won't." This is a hard truth, but it is also liberating, because it means you are in control. You are the author of your own story. You can change your beliefs and thereby change your results. But do not wait. Do not tell yourself you will begin tomorrow. Tomorrow is a promise never delivered. Begin now. Examine your thoughts. Question your doubts. Replace them with visions of what you truly want. And then act. Because belief without action is merely wishing. But belief paired with consistent, purposeful action is the force that changes everything. You may think this sounds too simple, that it cannot be true, but consider the alternative. Has doubting yourself made you happy? Has thinking small kept you safe? Has waiting for permission given you the life you want? You know the answer, so why not try something different? Why not choose to believe in your own potential? Why not test these ideas for yourself? I promise you this, if you invest in your mind, if you choose your beliefs carefully, if you act with purpose and refuse to give up, you will see changes you cannot even imagine now. You will become someone you respect, someone you are proud of, and you will inspire others to do the same. So I ask you, as you reflect on these words, to decide. Decide that from this moment forward, you will no longer think like the 95% who conform without question. Decide you will belong to the rare few who dare to dream, to act, to believe. Because when you believe fully, the world bends to you. When you truly believe, you send a message not just to the world, but to yourself. You say, "I am worthy of this vision. I am capable of this achievement. I will not accept less than what I know I can become." And that message, repeated daily, begins to shape your very identity. For we do not act according to what we want. We act according to who we believe we are. If you see yourself as average, you will behave in ways that reinforce that belief. You will choose the easy path. You will shy away from challenges. You will justify your complacency. But if you see yourself as exceptional, as someone with something valuable to offer the world, you will rise to meet that standard. You will do the work others avoid. You will embrace difficulty, knowing it is the path to growth. You will refuse to settle for mediocrity. It is not arrogance to think highly of yourself. It is arrogance to think you were put here to do nothing, to squander your gifts, to let fear dictate the boundaries of your life. Humility is not hiding from your potential. It is acknowledging it, respecting it, and using it in service of something greater than yourself. Belief is the foundation of all this. It is the root from which every other virtue grows. Discipline without belief is slavery. Courage without belief is recklessness. Vision without belief is fantasy. But when you believe deeply, discipline becomes devotion. Courage becomes purpose. Vision becomes a plan. People often ask, how do I develop this belief? And the answer is both simple and demanding. You choose it daily, even when you don't feel it. Especially then. For belief is not an emotion, it is a decision. It is a commitment to see yourself not as you are, but as you can be. It is a promise to yourself that you will not abandon your dreams when they become inconvenient. You must begin by guarding your thoughts, because your mind is the soil in which belief takes root. And if you allow weeds of doubt, fear, and negativity to grow unchecked, they will choke out everything you plant. Be vigilant. Notice what you say to yourself in unguarded moments. When you catch yourself thinking, "I can't," replace it with, "How can I?" When you hear yourself say, "That's impossible," ask instead, "What would make it possible?" This is not wishful thinking. It is disciplined thinking. It is refusing to indulge the lazy conclusions of fear. It is demanding of yourself the same creativity you would expect from the world's greatest problem solvers, because you too are capable of solutions. You too have within you the power to innovate, to adapt, to overcome, but only if you believe you do. You must also act in alignment with your belief, for belief without action is hypocrisy. If you say you believe in your potential but make no effort to develop it, you are lying to yourself. Your actions must match your words. If you believe you are destined for greatness, you must work as though that is true. You must prepare yourself for opportunities you cannot yet see. You must cultivate habits that will sustain you when challenges arise. Consider the athlete who trains before dawn while others sleep. He does not do this because it is comfortable, but because he believes in the goal that awaits him. Consider the writer who sits at the desk day after day, wrestling with words. She does not do this because it is easy, but because she believes in the story only she can tell. Consider the entrepreneur who risks failure, who faces rejection, who reinvests when others would retreat. He does not do this because he is certain of success, but because he believes success is possible and worth the price. Belief is not a guarantee of ease. It is a promise to persist. It is the fuel that keeps you moving when others stop. It is the voice that says, again, when you have failed for the 100th time. It is the quiet conviction that the vision you hold in your mind is worth every sacrifice you must make to bring it into the world. And make no mistake, sacrifice will be required. You will have to let go of old habits, old associations, old ways of thinking that no longer serve you. You may have to endure the misunderstanding of those who cannot see what you see. You may have to walk alone for a time, but better to walk alone toward your purpose than to follow the crowd away from it. Understand this: the majority will not encourage your belief, not because they wish you harm, but because your conviction will challenge them. Your determination will remind them of dreams they abandoned. Your growth will reveal their stagnation. And so they will mock, they will warn, they will urge you to be realistic. But remember, realistic is often just another word for limited. Do not let their limits become yours. Choose instead to surround yourself with those who support your vision. Seek out the voices that challenge you to rise higher, not those that urge you to settle. Read the words of those who believed when it was difficult, who persisted when it was painful. Fill your mind with examples of what is possible, for what you feed your mind determines what it produces. And never underestimate the power of small steps. Belief is built not in grand gestures, but in daily choices. Every time you act in alignment with your vision, you strengthen your belief. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove you are trustworthy. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when it is hard, you reinforce the idea that you are capable. And over time, these small victories accumulate into an unshakable confidence. This is why I say the best investment you will ever make is in yourself, because you are the only thing in your life you can truly control. You cannot control the economy, or the weather, or the opinions of others, but you can control your thoughts, your actions, your responses, and by doing so, you shape your future. So, decide now. Decide that you will no longer be a passive observer of your own life. Decide that you will no longer be at the mercy of fear and doubt. Decide that you will no longer allow your past to dictate your future. Choose instead to believe fully, completely, without reservation in your own potential, and then act as though that belief were true, because when you do, it will be. This is not magic. It is not luck. It is the oldest truth in the world. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What you believe about yourself becomes your reality. The world bends not to your wishes, but to your conviction. And when you believe fully, you give the world no choice but to respond in kind. Belief has another dimension that many overlook. It does not simply transform what you achieve, but how you experience life itself. When you believe fully, you no longer wake up dreading the day ahead. You rise with purpose, with a quiet anticipation of what you might accomplish. You see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to prove your strength. You meet adversity not with resignation, but with curiosity, asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How will this make me stronger? This shift is profound, for most people move through life as though they are being pushed from behind, reacting to events, complaining about circumstances, blaming others. They wait for the world to change so they can feel better. But when you believe fully, you turn around and face life head-on. You take the wheel of your own ship. You decide the direction. And even when the seas are rough, you do not relinquish that wheel. You see, it is not the calm seas that make a skilled sailor. It is the storms, it is the moments when everything seems lost, but the captain refuses to abandon his course. Life will test your belief in exactly this way. It will throw setbacks in your path, not to destroy you, but to demand an answer. Do you really want this? Do you really believe you can do it? And your response in those moments will determine your fate. Too many turn back at the first sign of resistance. They interpret difficulty as a sign that they are on the wrong path. But often difficulty is proof that you are on the right path, because anything worth having will test you. Anything truly valuable requires you to grow to deserve it. Belief gives you the strength to continue when others quit. It allows you to see past the current struggle to the reward that awaits on the other side. It turns obstacles into stepping stones. It transforms setbacks into strategy sessions. It makes you relentless, not reckless but determined, not impatient but persistent. And persistence is the twin of belief. For belief says it is possible, and persistence says I will prove it. One without the other is powerless. Belief without persistence is daydreaming. Persistence without belief is drudgery. But together they are an unstoppable force. Consider for a moment the great explorers. They sailed into unknown waters with no guarantee of success. They faced storms, disease, mutiny, but they kept going. Not because they knew exactly what they would find, but because they believed there was something worth finding. Their belief carried them beyond the edge of the known world. Or think of the scientist who spends years in a lab, running experiment after experiment, failing again and again. It is belief that keeps her trying. The belief that the answer exists even if she has not yet found it. And because she believes, she persists. And because she persists, she discovers. This same dynamic applies to you, no matter your goal. Whether you wish to build a business, write a book, strengthen a relationship, transform your health, it all begins with belief. The belief that you can change. The belief that it is worth it. The belief that the effort you invest will yield fruit, even if you cannot see it yet. Let me tell you this, the harvest always comes. It may not come when you want it, it may not come in the form you expect, but it will come if you do not give up, because the universe operates by laws. Just as surely as the law of gravity ensures that what goes up must come down, the law of sowing and reaping ensures that what you plant and tend will eventually grow. The question is not whether you will reap, but what you will reap, for the law does not discriminate. It returns to you what you plant. Plant doubt, and you will harvest regret. Plant fear, and you will harvest inaction. Plant belief, and you will harvest achievement. This is why you must be so careful about the thoughts you entertain. Every thought is a seed. Every repeated phrase in your mind is fertilizer. Every action is water. Over time, these small choices create your entire landscape. The person who believes fully tends to their mental garden with intention. They refuse to allow weeds to take root. They refuse to let old limiting beliefs grow unchecked. They replace them with ideas that serve their goals, that inspire action, that strengthen their resolve. Ask yourself, what kind of garden is growing in your mind? Is it overrun with weeds of self-doubt and cynicism, or is it carefully cultivated with visions of what you can achieve? Do you allow anyone who passes by to throw seeds of negativity into your soil, or are you selective about what you permit to grow there? Because you have that power. You are not helpless. You are the gardener, the farmer, the caretaker of your own mind. And if you do the work daily, pulling the weeds, planting the seeds of belief, watering them with action, protecting them from the storms of discouragement, you will reap a harvest that others will call miraculous. But you will know better. You will know it was no miracle at all. It was the predictable result of daily choices, made in faith, sustained by belief. And you will carry that knowledge with humility, because you will understand how close you came to not achieving it at all. You will remember the days you almost gave up, the days you wondered if it was worth it, and you will be grateful you chose to believe one more time. This is the true reward of belief. Not only the external success it creates, but the internal transformation it demands. Because in order to achieve something great, you must become someone great. In order to hold more, you must become more. And that becoming is the real prize. You will look in the mirror and see someone who kept their word to themselves, someone who did not allow fear to rule them, someone who refused to be defined by their past, someone who believed when it would have been easier to doubt. And in that reflection, you will find a satisfaction that no amount of money or recognition can replace. So I say to you, make the choice today to believe. Not half-heartedly, not conditionally, but fully. Decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you fail, no matter who doubts you, you will hold fast to your vision. You will act as though it is already true. You will prepare yourself to receive it, and you will refuse to let go until it is yours. Because when you believe fully, the world has no choice but to yield. It cannot help but respond to the certainty you project. It will test you. It will challenge you. But in the end, it will bend to you. Not because you forced it to, but because you earned it. Belief, when it is complete, changes your relationship to time itself. Most people are in a rush. They want results today, now, immediately. They fear waiting. They see time as the enemy. But when you believe fully, you understand that time is your ally. You recognize that the universe does not pay interest on hurried intentions. It rewards those who plant seeds and tend them patiently, knowing the harvest comes in its season. You do not panic if the results are not instant. You do not despair if progress seems slow, because you know that as long as you continue, success is inevitable. This patience is not passive. It is not the patience of a man waiting idly for rescue. It is the patience of the craftsman, the farmer, the builder who works steadily, who measures carefully, who improves daily. It is the patience that allows you to resist shortcuts that promise much but deliver little. It is the patience that keeps you honest, disciplined, and thorough. It says, I am in this for the long haul. I am not here to impress anyone. I am here to fulfill my purpose. When you believe fully, you stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy and the assassin of progress. It is rooted in the fear that you are not enough, that you will be left behind, that you must beat someone else in order to win. But belief knows better. Belief says, I am on my own path. I do not need to keep pace with anyone. I only need to keep faith with myself. It allows you to celebrate the success of others without envy. It frees you to learn from them without shame, because their success is proof of what is possible, not evidence of your inadequacy. Belief also changes how you handle criticism. The man without belief is fragile. He is easily wounded by harsh words. He is defensive. He is desperate to be understood and validated by everyone. But the man who believes fully is unmoved, not because he is arrogant, but because he has chosen his compass. He has set his direction. He welcomes constructive feedback, but he filters destructive criticism through the sieve of his purpose. He asks, does this serve me? Does it help me grow? And if it does not, he discards it without resentment. You see, the world is full of critics. It always has been. There will always be those who tell you it cannot be done, who mock your ambitions, who warn you against risk. Often these voices are sincere. They think they are helping you, but they are wrong, because their counsel is born of their own fears, their own failures, their own unexamined beliefs, and you must not make their limits your own. You must thank them for their concern and continue on your path. Belief is also what allows you to recover from mistakes, because you will make them. No journey worth taking is free of error. There will be times you choose wrongly, times you trust the wrong people, times you waste time, energy, and resources on plans that do not work. The man without belief interprets these moments as proof that he is unworthy. He says, see, I knew I couldn't do it, and he stops. But the man who believes fully sees them as tuition, as the necessary cost of learning. He says, what can I take from this? How will I do better next time? And he continues. This is resilience. This is anti-fragility. It is the understanding that life is not meant to be safe, but meaningful. That you are not here to avoid pain, but to master it. That your failures are not verdicts on your worth, but invitations to grow. And belief is what allows you to accept that invitation again and again. Belief also makes you generous, for when you truly believe in your own abundance, you are not threatened by the success of others. You do not hoard your knowledge or your resources. You share freely, you mentor others, you lift them up, because you know there is enough for everyone, that another's gain is not your loss, that the rising tide lifts all ships, and in giving you increase your own wealth of spirit, of relationships, of opportunity. Belief transforms work into service. The man who does not believe sees work as a burden, as something to be avoided or endured. He dreams of escape, of leisure without purpose. But the man who believes fully sees work as a privilege, as the arena in which he expresses his gifts, as the field where he plants the seeds of his future. He does not resent effort, he embraces it, he understands that mastery is its own reward, that excellence is its own justification. When you believe fully, you no longer seek guarantees, you no longer demand certainty before you act. You know that certainty is an illusion, that no one can predict the future. But you trust yourself to handle whatever comes. You say, I do not know what challenges await me, but I know I will rise to meet them. This confidence is not loud or boastful, it is quiet, it is calm, it is unshakable, and it gives you a freedom that those who insist on perfect conditions will never know. Belief also changes how you plan. The man without belief makes no plans, for he sees no point, or he makes grand, unrealistic plans that he quickly abandons. But the man who believes fully makes clear, concrete plans. He breaks them down into daily actions. He understands that small, consistent steps taken in the right direction will move mountains. He knows that progress is not always visible in the short term, but it is inevitable in the long term if he does not stop. This kind of planning is not rigid. It is adaptable. It responds to new information. It allows for creativity and surprise, because belief does not mean stubbornness. It means commitment to the goal, not attachment to the method. It says, I will get there one way or another. And when the path is blocked, it finds another. Belief gives you clarity. It acts as a filter, helping you decide what is important and what is noise. The man who believes fully does not waste time on trivial distractions. He does not pursue every shiny object. He does not say yes to every invitation. He asks, does this serve my purpose? Does this bring me closer to my goal? And if the answer is no, he has the courage to decline. This focus is rare. It is what separates those who achieve from those who dream. It is not about being busy. It is about being effective, doing less but better, concentrating your energy where it will have the greatest impact. And finally, belief changes how you see yourself. It is the foundation of self-respect. It says, I am worthy of this dream. I am capable of this work. I am enough, not because I am perfect, but because I am committed. This self-respect is the root of all healthy relationships, all meaningful work, all lasting happiness. Because when you respect yourself, you teach others how to treat you. You set standards. You refuse to tolerate what does not align with your values. Belief, then, is not optional. It is essential. It is the first investment you must make before any other can pay dividends. It is the foundation upon which you will build your life. And when you believe fully, consistently, without apology, you will discover that the world itself begins to rearrange to accommodate the vision you hold. Not by magic, but by the natural laws that govern human endeavor. Because as you think, so shall you become. And as you become, so shall you achieve. When you believe fully, you step into a rare class of human beings, those who shape their destiny with their own hands. You become part of the 5% who refuse to drift, who reject conformity, who dare to decide for themselves what life can be. This choice is not easy. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you approval. It will cost you the false security of blaming others for your circumstances. But what you gain in return is priceless: freedom, purpose, mastery, peace. You see, belief is not merely a mindset. It is a discipline. It is the daily choice to hold your vision steady in the face of distraction, disappointment, and delay. It is the willingness to endure what others will not, to sacrifice what others refuse to give up, to persist long after the crowd has lost interest. It is saying to yourself, this is who I am, this is what I am building, and nothing, not fear, not failure, not the doubts of others will stop me. And make no mistake, there will be days when belief feels like a lie, when your results do not match your expectations, when every effort seems wasted, when the people closest to you question your choices, when you will question yourself. These are the defining moments, the crucible in which your conviction is tested. For belief that is never challenged is no belief at all. It is only when you hold to your vision in the darkness that you prove its power. You must understand that the world is not designed to encourage your belief. It is designed to test it. It will ask you, how badly do you want this? How deeply do you believe in it? And your answer cannot be words alone. It must be found in your actions, in the hours you work when no one is watching, in the decisions you make when no one will know, in the promises you keep to yourself even when they cost you comfort or ease. This is the price of self-mastery. This is the price of freedom, because the man who cannot command himself will always be a servant to circumstance. But the man who has disciplined his mind, who has trained himself to believe fully in his purpose, is free. He cannot be bribed by ease or threatened by hardship. He cannot be distracted by trivial pleasures or seduced by cheap applause. He is steady. He is calm. He is powerful in his certainty. Such people are rare. That is why they are so valuable. That is why they are trusted, followed, remembered. They do not need to boast or demand respect. Their very presence commands it, because everyone around them can sense that they have done the hardest work of all. They have conquered themselves. And so I ask you now, will you do this work? Will you choose to believe fully? Not just when it is convenient or popular, but always. Will you hold your vision steady through failure, through doubt, through criticism? Will you invest in your own mind, your own character, your own potential with the same seriousness others invest in stocks or property or reputation? Because you are your own greatest asset, and the return on that investment is infinite. It is measured not only in wealth or achievement, but in the man you become in the process. A man who keeps his word, who does what he says he will do, who lives in alignment with his values, who knows who he is and what he stands for. This is the goal. Not merely success, but integrity. Not merely achievement, but character. Because the world does not need more rich men, it needs more good men, strong men, men who cannot be bought or bent or broken, men who have faced their own weaknesses and chosen to rise above them, men who have learned to master themselves so they can serve others. This is the legacy you can build if you choose to believe. And let me be clear, it is a choice. No one is born with unshakable belief. It is cultivated, it is earned, it is chosen and rechosen every day, especially on the days when it would be easier to give in to fear or laziness or cynicism. Especially then. And so as we come to the end of this message, I will not wish you an easy path. I will not hope for you a life without struggle, because that would be to hope for you a life without meaning. Instead, I wish you the courage to believe, to look at your dreams squarely and say, yes, I will pay the price. Yes, I will endure the tests. Yes, I will hold this vision until it becomes reality. Because when you do, you will find something extraordinary happens. The world itself will begin to respond, opportunities will appear, allies will arrive, challenges will strengthen you instead of breaking you, and one day you will look around at the life you have built and realize it was you who built it, that nothing was given to you freely except the chance to choose your own beliefs. And you will be grateful you chose wisely. If these words have resonated with you, if you see in them a mirror of your own potential, then I invite you to share them. Pass them on to someone who needs them. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Subscribe so that you do not forget this promise you make to yourself today. Because belief is not a single moment, but a daily practice. And by returning here, by listening again, you remind yourself of who you are becoming. Because when you believe fully, the world bends to you. Not because it must, but because you have become the kind of person it cannot ignore.